gamers, and welcome to episode 441 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for January 6th, 2024. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on, Dominic? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We got a new year on us. Hope everybody had a Happy New Year. So yeah, now we started off the year, and as of today anyway, it's kind of terrible weather, like raining here, kind of sleetish rain.
Yeah.
But I know it's worse in the northern part, but we're not going to get it that bad here, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw those guys up north. Yeah, screw them. That was a joke. But anyway, so we didn't have much to talk about last week because since it was the end of the year, it wasn't much to do. So yeah, I guess we just get right into it. I know in sports, as of like by the time you hear this, NFL season will be over, and hopefully my Washington Commanders are still at the number 2. They still have the number 2 pick because right now we're number 2, and we're I'm so happy. That's basically the highest we can be because Carolina they're just too horrible, and But also, what sucks for them is that they don't have that pick. They have to give it to the Bears.
Man.
So they get fucked both ways. So it's like, y'all suck, and y'all don't get the first pick. It's like, god darn, that's horrible. But if New England loses, I think, if we lose, okay, we lose. But if New England also loses, I think they jump over us because they go by strength of schedule or something like that. I'm hoping New England. Vegas have them winning against the Jets anyway. Which I can see that. I mean, New England has been playing a lot better than the last few games than I know their fans want them to because they're like, "What are you doing? Like, we could get like the top pick, but y'all trying to freaking win games now." So I'm hoping that they do come through for the Jets. I'm happy for Arizona. Arizona beating the Eagles last week, upsetting them. That helped us, jumped up to number 2 also. So I'm like, yes, I'm glad these teams are just trying very hard to win. While we did try in the first half against the 49ers, we actually played pretty well, which I did not like that. I was like, what is going on? I was like, say, why are you playing this good team good? Like, they supposed to destroy us. And they end up being one-sided in the second half. But they didn't destroy us as much bad as I thought they would, which was a little surprising. But whatever, we get, at the end of the day, the loss, it was a loss. I guess it's the best you can do is like say, hey, we played an okay game and we still lost. So it's like a 1-win. But now we're playing the Cowboys, which is like, man, I don't want the Cowboys to win the division. But like someone said, like what's more important? Like being the Cowboys or having a chance to get like one of the top quarterbacks? Like a franchise changing quarterback. And yeah, I'll take that, man. Like the hell with it. I mean, like the Cowboys, whatever. They might most likely probably lose their first game anyway. So it doesn't matter. In the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. But then you got some people who are like those what they would call themselves as true fans and saying like you should never root for the Cowboys to win. I don't understand y'all people. They said just because they get number 2 doesn't mean that just because of a draft pick doesn't mean that the players will automatically be good. So we had high draft picks before and we haven't done well. But I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to ever say no to a high draft pick. Like I always hate that argument. The argument was that like, well, the last time you had high draft picks, I didn't do well. So why does it matter now? Because well, first of all, it's a new regime, and then again, hey, maybe this one will hit. I don't know, but I know I'm not going to ever say no to a higher draft pick.
Right.
Like I want to get the best person we can possibly get, and at this point in the season, it just doesn't matter. And it's like it don't matter. Like look, like for. Really, the whole like bragging rights thing, you being a rivalry team, it's a personal thing. It's a personal fan thing, and it may be a personal player thing. And the players don't even care about the rivalries. They only care. They just want to win. And I get it from their standpoint. No, I don't want them to want to lose. No, this is just a fan, organizationally just looking at the team. And that's just a person like if I was in school, probably I wouldn't even care about the draft pick thing. I probably want more so the Cowboys, just fucking yell at the Cowboys fans and say, hey, we put you out the playoffs. I probably would want that. More so than the draft pick. But honestly, it's like we all know how this works. Like we all know how this business works. So it's like they can beat us now. Who gives a shit? like it don't matter. If anything, get mad at the Eagles for sucking because they should have been winning the division. They're the ones who lost 4 of the last 5, 5 of the last 6, something like that. They're the ones who've been losing games, and they let the Cowboys get up there so they can win the division. And also blame the refs. Blame the refs in that Lions game where the Lions should have beat their asses, but the ref called the wrong call, and they suspended those refs. Like those refs can't they can't be in the playoffs. I know they're not in the. I don't know if they're doing a game this week. I'm not sure. I just heard they can't. I know they can't be. They basically suspended them. So I'm guessing they're not in the game this week either. But yeah, which is almost is like, oh, they admitted fault. The NFL actually admitted fault that the referees were wrong. It's just that you don't take the Cowboys don't get a, they don't take away the win though. Yeah. But it's just that. But yeah, blame them. Like that's another reason. Like I can't get mad at the situation. Look, the situation is what it is, and the Cowboys, they're most likely they're going to win. And that's fine. I mean, they serve it. They had a nice season. I mean, they're a good team. Like they're one of the best teams in the NFC. They are. You're supposed to beat the teams that's worse than you, and that's what they mostly did. Yeah. They just don't do very well against the teams that are actually also good. They seem to either struggle against them or they lose against them. And they probably should have lost that game against the Lions, another good team. But hey, they got a chance. They're going to have at least one home game. So, and they're pretty good at home. So we'll see what they do with that. And then we'll see what they do after. 49ers got a home field throughout on the NFC side. They look good. They look like other than that Ravens game, they look like a really dominant team. That's why that was such a huge game. Yeah. It was really huge that the Ravens just dominated them. Then the Ravens came up and dominated the Dolphins, another good team. Mm-hmm. And they're battling to stay in a division lead over the Bills, the Dolphins, and they're playing them this Sunday too. So, it'll be done before by the time you hear it. But yeah, so Ravens, they got home field throughout on their side. And yeah, so they're resting players. So they're going to be waiting to see who they play in like another 2 weeks. It's looking pretty good for the Ravens on the Ravens side. They're really looking great. Like it's looking like this is theirs to lose. It's theirs to lose. That's what it really comes down to. Like they are great on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. Defensively and offensively. Like it seems like this is their time. Like if they're going to win it, this is definitely one of those years that they look good enough that they can win it. San Francisco, besides, like I said, besides the Ravens game, they look great against everybody. I mean, it's not that 3-week stretch when they lost 3 games in a row, but that was their other than the Ravens loss, that was the only losses they had. So they're looking like they saying they can just go to the Super Bowl, so it can just be a rematch against that game against the Ravens, yeah. But which would be a rematch from 10 years ago, basically. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how that happens. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to predict who gets the Super Bowl, I have no idea. I'm still not counting out KC, even though they don't look that good this year. But I'm not falling for that. I said I'm going to wait till they lose because they're not going to fool me. They're not going to fool me and be like, oh, look at this. They look horrible. And then Patrick Mahomes just get some touchdowns or the refs help them out again, like on something. And I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. So I'm gonna wait till they lose until I say anything. They won their division. And who else clinched it? How about the Browns? Joe Flacco coming back. Yeah, he's coming back with a vengeance. He's gonna play against the Ravens in the playoffs and beat them. Beat them. And like I say, you took my spot. They say now I come back. I come back from the grave. See, he's come back.
Truly an elite quarterback.
He's come back to take the. Yeah, look at this. Joe Flacco will come back to get revenge against the Ravens, against the team that used to be the Browns.
Mm-hmm. It writes itself, Dominic. It writes itself.
Exactly. The NFL, man, they write the best scripts. They have the best script. They're the best writers out there. What else? What else has happened? Anything from the NFC? I know there's still teams fighting for playoff spots. Green Bay still fighting. Buccaneers are fighting. I hope Bucks get in before they get in the show. Like, see, this team was already good even without Tom Brady. This team is still good. It's like this is worthless. It's like he's like whatever. He didn't do anything. Yeah, that's about it. In there. Oh no, we got basketball. I know my Wizards still suck. There's other stuff that happened, but I don't really care about. And what else happened? Oh yeah, I was looking because I don't know if LeBron's son. I don't think LeBron's son's going to be coming out his first year. I mean, he just came back because of that heart problem,
Yeah.
So, but I heard he had a nice game the last game he played. But I mean, he's come off the bench on the team, so he's not starting. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I guess maybe I have another year of basketball I can watch before he joins his father. So I maybe I'll see. I mean, I most likely, or unless LeBron makes it so that hey, he's still gonna come in the NBA no matter what. Even though he's not that good. So it's just I have no idea. I have never watched the boy play. Yeah. Like I'd never seen clips. I didn't even bother to look up any clips of him playing. I mean, I just don't care. If he's good, he's good. If he's not, he's not. It's whatever. What else? Anything else happened? I know about. Oh yeah, college basketball college football. Let me get to college football first. Alabama lost, so I'm happy. I'm saying, guess thank you. For them losing, even though they shouldn't have been there in the first place. But yeah, Michigan beat them. The cheaters beat them, so that's good. That's what I was like. Oh, I got to root for either the cheaters or the other cheaters that nobody. I mean, there's no proof that they're cheating, but we know Alabama's cheating. But I was joking. But anyway, I was rooting for Michigan, and they're going to be playing against Washington, who beat Texas. Both games were good. They were both good games. So I was like, yeah, at least they were enjoyable games to watch. Mm-hmm. And some people are complaining about the bowl games because a lot of players are opting out of them now because they are they're saying like, hey, if it's not the playoffs, why play if I don't want to risk injury? If I'm going to the NFL,
right?
So
that makes sense.
And some people are getting upset by that because they're like, what's the point of bowl games? That's a good question.
Exactly, right?
That's a good question. I mean, that was a question for a while. I mean, a little bit, because now players are knowing their worth. They know, like, look, this stuff doesn't mean anything if I win a freaking Mayo Bowl. Like, what the hell does that even mean? It's like, I mean...
But I could get Mayo dumped on me, Dominic.
No, only the coaches.
Excitement.
But look, there is excitement. Like, some people, like... Some players, yes, they want to play in these games. Like, it's another game. Especially if you know you're not winning a championship. It's something. But for the players that are definitely, like, going to NFL, I understand their viewpoint. Mm-hmm. Because that's what you're going for. That's the top prize.
That's the dream.
So, yeah. So, if it's not the playoffs, where you can possibly win a championship, like... That's the question. Why risk it? I mean, at that point, I don't blame anybody who wants to play it either. If they want to stay and play for that last game, I don't blame them. But I don't blame them for not wanting to play. And some people, some fans, of course, I call them idiots, who are saying like they're quitters or something.
Oh, please.
I'm like, yeah, because y'all part of the problem. Y'all part of the problem why these players are getting fucked over for all these years. Because y'all still on the mindset of you getting a free education and blah, blah, blah. And that education shit blow up your ass. You know they ain't getting no education. These kids ain't learning shit in that school. Most of those kids aren't. Like those, especially those kids from the NFL, they ain't going to school for education.
Their communications degree says otherwise, Dominic.
And thing is, as much as I hear about them, hold on real quick.
Sure.
As much as I hear about how much they work out all year round, like even when the season's over with, and like what they gotta do, I'm just thinking like, man, darn, like for the people, unless you just into like you're able to manage yourself to just study too, that much too.
Yeah,
I don't know how. Like I don't know how you That's why I always see like they show them they pick these easy courses.
Yeah,
like they used to show that, like say, hey, these guys take this type of course, some media course or something like that. Darn, man, I need to get some water or something. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I don't blame them for not being there. Yeah. I think that's about it for sports. Yeah, I think that's about it. So what's going on in wrestling?
So we're a couple of weeks away from the Royal Rumble, which is, of course, one of the biggest shows for WWE. And we're also, I think, like a month and a half away from a show that they're doing in Perth, Australia. They're doing Elimination Chamber there, which is like their kind of usually like C-tier show between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But it sounds like they are kind of going big with this one, like in the same vein that like when they go to Saudi Arabia, they get a whole bunch of money from the government and you know, a lot of requests as well. So on Monday, The Rock came back and he kind of teased a match between him and Roman Reigns. Now, it seems like in the past that he wouldn't really tease that, you know, because he hasn't really. He talked about why the match didn't happen on the Pat McAfee show. You know, I think earlier this year we talked about that a little bit. But he's never been on their programming and kind of indicated that was going to be a thing. It was just always speculation because it's the obvious story. You know, their family and The Rock was one of the biggest superstars ever, and now Roman Reigns is one of the biggest guys ever. So of course people are like, oh man, that's fucked up for Cody, because it seems like that's the obvious place for Roman to go at WrestleMania is against Cody Rhodes again and have Cody actually win this year. Now a lot of speculation has gone into that The Rock would be facing Roman Reigns at the Australia show. I, for the longest time, thought if you're doing The Rock versus Roman Reigns, it has to be at WrestleMania. That's their biggest show. But I'm definitely siding now with the idea that it would need to happen at that Australia show, mostly because I don't think that match is going to necessarily be great, because The Rock was on TV for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes on Monday. He basically, you know, knocked out Jinder and delivered a people's elbow and then cut a promo, and he was winded the entire time. That man has a lot of mass to carry around, and I don't think his cardio is particularly good. So, and I don't know that you can get away with like some sort of squash match for Roman Reigns. Like if you're bringing The Rock back, it has to be, you know, a 15-20 minute kind of epic thing. So like there's part of me that's like, if he doesn't have the cardio, he's not going to have the cardio in a month and a half. But I don't know that he's going to have the cardio in 2 months either, when WrestleMania would be. So to me, if they're looking at him and going like, I don't know that he's got it, I think you have him headline that show in Australia instead of your biggest show of the year. You know, still get eyes on that stuff. He's out here trying to promote, you know, the merger between the XFL and the USFL. Is that what the other league was?
Yeah.
So like, I get why he's trying to do some of this stuff, and I guess maybe it's before the ramp up of you know, his next movie projects, really, after coming off of the writer's strike stuff and the actor strike. So maybe he's got a little bit of time there, but I don't know. It's weird because you don't tease this match on the program without it happening. But also in the shape that The Rock's in, like 10 years ago when he had that match with John Cena, he basically ripped the ab muscles from the bone and was on the shelf for quite a while. So if he's got a lot of film projects coming up, that could put a lot of those in jeopardy. And I don't know that, you know, that was always kind of the problem with him wrestling, was like insurance companies didn't want him doing that because insurance companies are going to have to pay for those films if something happens to him. So I don't know where this goes. It feels like The Rock has to have a match. And obviously that's huge because he's a big deal, but at the same time, it almost is starting to feel like the shine is coming off of him. Like, you know, for the longest time, it was like, oh man, The Rock is one of the biggest movie stars. And sure, like his movies can bring some money, but like I think Black Adam was the first kind of chink in that armor. And now we're starting to see like, oh, if he's going back to WWE, is he like kind of desperate? Does he need this to, you know? And of course, people are still talking and speculating about him going into politics. Like, is this him just trying to keep his name relevant? But I don't know if you use wrestling to make your name relevant in in politics, you know?
No, not at all.
Unless you're trying to court the January 6th crowd. Yeah, so you got that going on. CM Punk is starting to feud.
If he wants to do that, he got to do a show on Fox Nation that I keep saying on Roku advertised. Like, yeah. Like Roseanne's stand up, she got something going on there. Is that where she's got to go? Duck Dynasty, something.
Oh man,
up there too.
I didn't even know Duck Dynasty was still. Something was still happening.
That's what I'm saying. That. I think it's all on Fox Nation. That's something I never fucking heard of until Roku was advertising it on the side.
I mean, the collaboration's right there, Dominic. The Fox Nation of domination. Bring Rocky Maivia back. Yeah, so that's going on. The CM Punk stuff, he's starting to feud with Seth Rollins. It seems pretty obvious that's where that's going with regards to WrestleMania, and it's a very high possibility that he may be winning the Royal Rumble, which is, I mean, it's either him or Cody, and it feels like it's more likely to be CM Punk because Cody won last year. But that's also kind of amusing considering the fact that the last 2 years will then have been guys coming out of AEW winning the Royal Rumble. AEW just had their show World's End. Samoa Joe became the world champion there, defeating MJF. That's kind of cool, but it sounds like MJF needs to take some time off, potentially get some shoulder surgery. So I feel like these injuries have really kind of blown apart Tony Khan's plans over there because leading into like the fall, it was MJF versus MJF versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole got injured, so he hasn't been able to wrestle. He had to have surgery on his ankle. So he's still on the shelf, but they've been running this angle where this like masked attacker has been attacking MJF and people in his orbit. Everybody speculated it's Adam Cole. They finally revealed that at World's End that it was in fact Adam Cole. But he still can't wrestle, so he's just cutting promos in a chair, on crutches. So it seems like a lot of their plans have kind of fallen apart. It is kind of funny that Samoa Joe is their champion now because with their connection to like Warner Brothers, the first thing that he was talking about at the press conference was like the release of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because he does the voice of King Shark in there. So it's like, yeah, did you guys just make him champion because his game's coming out and Warner Brothers wanted you to? I mean, regardless, Samoa Joe was a very good champion, but like it seems kind of silly if that's the case.
It's all silly, Daniel.
It is all silly. It's wrestling. And then the last thing I'll talk about real quick is the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom show just happened on January 4th. They do that every year. That's like their WrestleMania, basically. The highlight of that was Daniel Bryan versus Okada, or Bryan Danielson versus Okada. Bryan Danielson lost that. Okada is it's an interesting case. He's the biggest star that they have in New Japan, and it sounds like his contract is coming up this year, and it also sounds like there's a high likelihood that he is leaving that company. I would lean towards him probably going to WWE just because the amount of money that I think they would offer him. And as a part of New Japan, like, he's already getting to commingle with people in AEW anyway, so it kind of is less of a big deal if he goes to AEW. But I don't know what New Japan has planned if Okada does end up leaving, and I hope it's not just what we saw at the New Year's show and Wrestle Kingdom, which was Dolph Ziggler and Matt Riddle, two guys that were just fired from WWE a couple of months ago. Like, it'll be interesting to see what Dolph Ziggler can do in a New Japan style match, because he's a guy that was very much like a work rate guy in WWE. He could put on a good match with anybody, basically, and that's the position that he found himself in. Like, they didn't raise him any higher than that or lower him any lower. It was just like kind of gatekeeper to the stars. Matt Riddle had his problems. He's also a fantastic wrestler, though, and I think he'll be fine doing the New Japan style of just kind of hard-hitting stuff, but he's a guy that I'm not necessarily looking forward to seeing anywhere prominent. But yeah, that's kind of the recap of wrestling. Haven't really talked about that in a little bit, so yeah.
All right, so I guess, I forgot to mention about, because you mentioned Pat McAfee, his thing with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, like, I guess him and Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, are having some type of beef.
Yeah.
Or Jimmy Kimmel just do jokes on Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers don't like it.
I think it's probably that, or at least that's how it started. Yeah.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers. Now, I'm just saying, like, I guess he was trying to do a joke, but his take. I mean, first of all, it didn't go. I mean, he didn't execute that joke very well at all. And then even if you can execute it any kind of way, but I mean, it's just that the whole thing with the Epstein thing, it's tied with underage sex with kids and trafficking.
Yeah.
And trafficking of kids and people, whatever. So it's like you can't. It's kind of hard to joke about that stuff, because that's a situation where, especially if you're not, that's a situation where it's still ongoing, and people are out there believing like these stars are on these lists, and they're tied with that. So you saying something about Jimmy Kimmel might be on the list, it's like, that joke's a little too far, and then you didn't even say the joke in a way that was really jokingly. So I don't even know. It almost came like, wait a minute, does he know something? It's like, does he know that Jimmy Kimmel is on the list or not? So yeah, and that was pretty. It was pretty crazy. How that is, and now like McAfee, I know he tried to basically talk his way out of it, and like, it's, man, when I watched McAfee's response to that the next day about like what was said, it took him forever just to say that I didn't know he was going to say that, and I just, he talked, but I didn't know he was going to say that.
Yeah.
It took him forever just to say that. And like, he just talked all around about all this other stuff, like how, look, I have these guests on this show and do this. And then he even mentioned something about, like, look, I talk about, like, we don't have like a script or nothing up here. We talk about different things. Just like I talked about, Clayton Clarkson having a big game the other day. And I'm like, get to the fucking point.
Yeah.
Get to the fucking point. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, but yeah, that was pretty funny, and it just really tells me, like, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he's one of those kooky guys, man. And I was like, who will they do this conspiracy series stuff? Like, I think he believes in all that shit. Yeah. Like you think like, he is basically Kyrie Irving of the football world. Like, people like Kyrie Irving, I'm able to say the earth was flat and shit like that. Yep. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is right there with him, man. Have we asked Aaron
Rodgers about what shape the earth is yet?
Have we gotten that on record? I don't know if they did, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't believe nobody's been to the moon. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't put it past him. Or nobody's really been to space. Yeah. Like, and I guess those people who were in SpaceX, they just went really high in the sky, and that's it. They didn't go into space.
They even breached the dome, Dominic.
No, well, the other guys didn't apparently. But what's the other dudes? The Amazon guy and
Bezos.
And what's the other dude? The Virgin Island? Is that the Virgin? Yeah, guy. Yeah, they don't. But because I remember, I saw something with
Richard Branson.
What's that black scientist? What's the Branson? Yeah, what's the black scientist name? Yeah, because he was up there. I saw something on TikTok about, he was talking about that stuff, and he was kind of like making fun of how other guys, they didn't really go into space and stuff, like SpaceX, like in SpaceX or something like that. And I was like, I guess. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, it's like, for me, it's like, I don't care. It's like if
I fall from that height, I'm gonna die either way, down.
Yeah. Well, if I probably leave out the thing, I probably just die if I can't breathe or whatever. There ain't enough air up here. But anyway, but yeah, but yeah, he's weird. Like, Aaron Rodgers is, or not weird. I guess it all depends what you look at. Like, I'm part of the problem, the sheep and everything. I just believe in everything, and everybody knows, like, there's somebody behind something. There's always conspiracy, there's always somebody behind the curtain doing shit, and the vaccines aren't real, COVID isn't real, and everything, all that shit. But anyway, but in another show, Shannon Sharp had Cat Williams on, and that's been a big thing the last few days. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I was actually just looking at that this morning when we started, because I had vaguely heard rumblings about something with Cat Williams, but I didn't know.
Yeah, and plus Tone Talks, he had a special on that too. Yeah, because Cat Williams just came out because he basically because the guests that Shannon Sharp has had up there, like Steve Harvey, Cedric Entertainer, Kevin Hart, and Ricky Smiley, and other people, like, he telling them that they were all lies. Those people lied about a lot of things, and things like that had pertained to him too. And he just basically just spilled everything out, apparently. Ooh. And for 2 hours, that was a damn show. I think I only watched probably maybe an hour of it. But there's other things I missed because I saw some of the things. I said, God damn, he was still going for another hour. But yeah, he was just getting on these guys, saying basically saying how, I mean, overall, that these guys only gotten to where they are because of doing things doing things that he wouldn't do, or being in a group or stealing and stuff like that. But being as a group and knowing people, that's how they got to where they are. They weren't that funny. He said these guys weren't that funny, but they were willing to do things to get as far as they were, and he goes into some detail on that. onto that. And he almost basically, I mean, I don't know if people know this. I know, like Tone pointed out, because I watched it after I watched some of Tone Talks when he was talking about the show. Tone Talks is a podcast. I mean, it's not a podcast. I'm sorry. It's a YouTube channel. And he, so I watched some of Tone, and then I was like, I gotta watch the show now because I gotta know what Tone's talking about. So I watched a lot of the show, the Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharp's YouTube show, and he, oh, darn, I forgot I was about to go about. I was about to say. Yeah, I mean, it felt like he was like I don't even say insulting Shannon, but he was almost questioning him in a way that, like, basically, like, how this guy did not interview these guys right. Like, he didn't ask these questions, like questions that he should have asked when those guys responded. He should have asked some questions of why. Because, like, when Shannon asked, like, a question to him, he said, why you didn't ask them when they were up here? But then Shannon, sometimes, I mean, I was okay when Shannon said he didn't know. He just assumed that they were telling the truth. But he said you should have asked, though, that, like, because Ricky Smiley said he would have had his part or something like that. Like, he had turned it down. Like, he was supposed to get the part that Cat Williams was supposed to have in Friday.
Okay.
And one of the Fridays. I think it was the Friday after next. And he said you should have asked, like, why would you, like, have that part? You didn't really go in detail. You just let him talk. But he was telling me that wasn't true. That wasn't true at all, because he the one who wrote the character or something like that. So how would you have a part that he wrote? He said he wrote about the character when he got there. So yeah, and like I mean, you gotta watch it because I don't want to go in all detail all that. That would just take a lot of this show.
Yeah,
and it was good though. I mean, I did like it, and there's a lot of people responding, and I think Kevin Hart he responded. I saw a little clip on. He does this thing on the NBA where he has him and his crew watching an NBA game on ESPN, and they're talking during the game, you know, doing jokes and stuff and talking to guests and blah, blah, blah. Kind of like if you ever watched the Manning brothers do on Monday Night Football.
Right.
So, and he even mentioned he even did a little Cat Williams. It was, like his little comeback, it wasn't much. And I think that it was a funnier thing with one of his guys had said, I thought was pretty funny, but it was like, yeah, that was a good comeback. And I think somebody even said, like, yo, for these guys, they shouldn't say anything. Some people say they shouldn't say anything. While Tone said he think they need to come back because that's what it is. This is a comedy. You got to come back to say if this guy is lying, like, and do it. And one guy did come back. What's his name? He's the fat dude from the Parenthood, the black dude. He was a comedian.
Yeah.
Fazion or something like that. Faison, I think his name is. He did a clap back, but he basically was saying something that was like, oh, he was a guy who'd do anything. He'll bend over for anybody or something to get somewhere. Or some shit like something like that. Like it was a dumb cat because it wasn't like a truth thing, you know. I mean, it didn't feel like he was telling like a truth. It's just like he was just angry, so he assaults him. While Cat Williams was telling the truth, like he was telling specific things. Well, I ain't gonna say truth. I would say he was telling specific things. It wasn't a joke. Like it wasn't a joke.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, y'all. I was like, yeah, that. And plus, I think it's a lot of things about that dude that people don't like and find out false about him. So it was like, this dude can't talk about anything. He probably should just shut up. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. And it really tells you too stuff that I kind of figure in the industry, though, like kind of things I kind of do about how like people got to where they are. Like sometimes, because sometimes it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's not just like, oh, because they were just super successful. Sometimes it's what people are willing to do, are willing to take, and to get where they are. And like it's not just because they're talented. It's just that they're basically willing to sell their souls.
Yeah.
And I can see that because sometimes I always question like, darn, how this person get so big? And like, I think like, they probably did some things. they probably they did some things, or they're willing to do or not say things and stuff, so they get there. All right, where we at here? Or what we were watching?
Yeah.
So I guess that technically was what we've been watching. So you can go ahead talk about you finally saw Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. So speaking of selling your souls
real
in
American
order to become the biggest movie star in the world, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Man, you know what, Dominic? I came into this movie with no like reverence for the original Top Gun. I'm not even sure that I've like sat there and watched the whole thing at some point. So I kind of came into it like, okay, you know, there's been a lot of talk about it. Everybody said it's good, but wow, I was actually quite impressed and would have, knowing what it is now, it would have been quite the experience in the theater, I'm sure, because there is some incredible imagery in that movie. And
it really is. It really is. Yes.
That's really what it's about. I mean,
just know how to film. They know how to film.
They do.
I said those Scientologists know how to film.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like the plot's incredible, but it's solid, you know, basing, you know, the tragedy of the first movie and having, you know, the guy's son there as part of this class. And I think they do a good job with that character because it's not like it's really interesting because like he's this really cocky dude seemingly from the outside, but like once he gets in that plane, it seems like he's really doubting himself, you know, and he can't catch up with Tom Cruise and he can't keep up with the squad until, you know, eventually he's able to find some character progression and overcome. And even the ending, I thought it was maybe a little too much with kind of where they go with Tom Cruise and then what happens after that. But they pulled it off. Like I thought it was going to become hokey at some point, and it never really does. It almost feels like extremely genuine, and I don't know if that's because like Tom Cruise has like a real, you know, love for this series and wanted, you know, it to not just be some kind of like cheap cash in, but it's not that at all. It was incredible. So yeah, I gotta give him credit. Like that movie is awesome, and I understand why it was one of the, you know, like highest grossing movies last year.
Yeah. I mean, it was an incredible movie, man. I mean, just like it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah,
it looked great.
That's the exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it made me love America. Yes.
Didn't make me feel one way or the other about America. And I mean, honestly, though, it feels very like it doesn't feel very patriotic at all.
Well,
in
it's
any
not.
way. Like they're just.
I mean, I don't think the first one wasn't either.
Yeah. Like they're just pilots.
It's not that type of movie.
It's not even. If you told me this was like the British Army, but like they don't have accents for whatever reason, like sure.
Well, then I'll just think it's weird.
Well, of course.
I was think it's fucking weird anyway. I never thought of British flying jets anyway. I always thought of those. Every time I think of British in the air, I always think of the old planes in World War II. I thought that's the last things they ever flown.
The Red Baron is coming.
Yeah, I just think that's the last thing they ever flown, and that's it. Yeah, I never thought of I never tied it with that. I mean, it's just those, you know, white people and those MAGA people who were kind of pushing that, and which is whatever.
Yeah,
but I never did. What is it? But now you got to see that movie. What's it called? The one that wanted to show Silent. What's it called? The one about the kidnapped children.
That's on Amazon Prime now, Dominic.
What is it called?
Oh, I had it, and then I said that, and now I can't remember what
I feel like it has Silent in there or something. I don't know.
I don't think so. Let me. Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, it's with Jesus. The guy who played Jesus is
I know it's going to be
then-
like right at the top on Amazon Prime Video.
And now I heard like somebody maybe mentioned something like
feature
the person
Sound
I
of
don't know.
Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Okay, so it's something like, okay.
It's the
Sound
opposite of
Freedom.
silence, Dominic. You gotta talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. I heard some other things about behind scenes with that movie.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it before they start putting commercials on everything.
Oh man, I know, man. Darn.
Which just means like I already don't think about Amazon Prime that often, but there are occasionally shows on there that I want to watch, like Invincible. But like now, I'm just gonna be even less likely to go there.
That's the thing, and I just want to know how the commercials are. Like, are they?
Can I block them with my ad blocker? That's my question.
Well, see, I'm not watching them on my computer
Yeah.
all the time. Most of the time, I'm watching Amazon on my TV, and I need to know if it's like commercial at the beginning, and I can just watch it through, or is it like, does it break up, and how many breaks? Like, how many breaks is it?
They're gonna
Like,
break at the
with these
most
commercials.
inappropriate time, Dominic.
Man, see, fuck it. I'm just going to steal shows again. That's all I'm going to do. I'll be like, well, I like this series. Let me just go and download it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, because they ruined all these streaming services. There are too many of them, and now all of them want to get into the ad game. And then you pay an extra fee for without the ads, and it's like we're just doing cable. Then why just give me cable back?
Because like someone said, you can choose what to watch.
That's fine. I get a DVR or whatever.
Yeah, I get
I'm
a
fine
DVR,
with that.
exactly.
Like, it's not. I appreciate the fact. Although at the same time, there's like now the like paralysis of choice. So it's like, whereas like if it's just on TV, it's like, oh, I can record that and I watch it. But like now, I've got 10 million choices now, Dominic.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, I did want to watch that, but
You always
this
choose the
is-
wrong ones.
What's that?
So you choose the wrong ones.
Oh,
though.
absolutely. I'm choosing the wrong ones. I started Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 the other day.
Oh, I started Super Troopers one time.
See, that's all right, though. Even though you've probably
Is
seen
it? I've never seen it.
You've
I ain't
never
never
seen
seen
it? Oh,
Super
no.
Troopers.
Super Troopers
No.
is funny. Super Troopers is
Oh,
funny.
okay.
It's worth watching.
Well, it was funny what I was watching so far.
Yeah. No, that's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, that was one of those movies I just never seen. I was like, oh yeah, Super Troopers. I always seen like people say it's funny. I used to always see it at Target because we have a billion of them.
Yeah.
And I never watched the movie.
Now, if you
So I was
start
like,
getting into
let's-
like Flying Salmon or whatever the other like comedy troops movies are, then you're pushing it a little bit. The Oktoberfest one was kind of funny too, but that's kind of the extent of where those guys' movies are. I think there is a Super Troopers 2 too, which I have not seen and don't know if that's any good. Still haven't seen Clerks 3.
Yeah, there is a Super Troopers 2.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is my oh, that's my computer fan. I was like, oh my god, where is this wind coming from? This is
Have you seen, and maybe you talked about this and I just didn't remember it, but there's on Amazon Prime a holiday Batman cartoon that is apparently done by, I think not Regular Show. Regular Show? Is Regular Show the one with the bird and the raccoon? Yeah, Regular Show guys. What is it called?
Holiday Batman?
Yeah, Merry Little Batman.
I ain't never seen that.
Okay. You might
Well, I
want to
gotta
check
watch
it
it
out. I've
next
heard
year.
it's pretty good.
Well, I can't watch Christmas shows unless it's around Christmas time.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I gotta wait till next year. That's just always been a thing with me.
Yeah.
Unless
remember
I'm
saying
forced to.
that. I'm going to force you to watch this. I'll tell you how Christmassy it is. Like, we'll just slash out the Mary. It'll just be Little
how
Batman.
Christmas is. Because how people say, like, oh, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I say, okay. Yeah, whatever.
You just don't want to limit
just-
yourself and watch a Die Hard, Dominic. That's all.
No, I'm just saying that it is. I don't feel like no
No,
warmth in
it's
me
not. No.
watching Die Hard. It's a difference. It's a difference.
about
watching
Home
Christmas.
Alone, though?
Home Alone. I never thought Home Alone was a Christmas movie.
Oh, okay.
Until they told me it was, because I watched that. I watched that. I used to watch that all the time.
I was
when
going to say,
a little
no,
kid.
that's just a kid's antics show.
Yeah. I never thought of that as a Christmas movie. There was another movie that took place around Christmas. Do you count Iron Man 3 as a Christmas movie?
No.
Yeah. Exactly. Plus, it came out in freaking May.
I was going to say, at the beginning of the year, yeah.
Yeah, because when I saw it was like Christmas and stuff, I was like, oh, I said they ain't like put this around like November or nothing. I never thought of Toy Story.
Oh no,
as a Christmas movie
not. Even though, yeah, I guess it does take place at Christmas because he gets Buzz for Christmas.
No, he gets for his birthday.
Oh, does it? Okay.
The end of the movie is in Christmas. That's it. That's the only part that's Christmas. But they're toys, and toys are Christmas name. And that's when the movie came out around the holidays.
Oh, did it?
It came out, in around November. It came out, and yeah, because I remember my cousin went Thanksgiving break. Me and my cousin went to see it, and then they had those toys from Burger King that I had got.
Oh, those I remember.
All right. So where we at here? Are we done? We can go to what we were playing.
Yeah.
So I guess you can talk about Zelda.
Yeah, real quick. I do want to touch base a little bit on Zelda. I thought I was pretty much wrapping up Tears of the Kingdom, but I guess not, because I fought Phantom Ganon. I'm not going to act like any of this is spoilers because it's Ganon. Of course you're fighting Ganondorf. So I fought him in the castle, and now they're telling me, of course, I have to fight the real Ganondorf somewhere. And they're telling me he's underground, but I haven't really spent a lot of time underground because I haven't really felt like that was much fun because it's dark. You got to go around and shoot off these arrows with light seeds on them, basically, to light up the place until you get to the next route, which then lights up the area and pops it on your map and stuff. But for the most part, it's kind of just bleak, and there's not a lot going on outside of like random encampments of enemies. And there's a lot of goo on the ground that you touch, and it takes away your hearts and stuff. So, like, I wasn't really super into that aspect of it because, like, above ground, you're finding the shrines, and then you're going inside the shrines, and you do a little puzzle. That I like. In fact, I'm not huge on the shrines that you find, and then it's just like, oh, here's a chest. It's like, oh, because I think the intention is to get to that shrine was a little more of a puzzle, but like those never feel satisfying to me. But with the light routes, all you're doing is lighting up the area that I've already sort of explored because I had to get to that light route. So the other night I was trying to finish actually New Year's.
What do you mean the light route? What is that?
So in the underground, there are just like these light routes. Basically, they're under every shrine is a thing that goes down into the underground, which is kind of the biggest spoiler I'm actually saying because it's something that you eventually kind of notice. Game also tells you eventually. But there's like a correlation between the two. So if, for instance, you find one of these things underground and then you go above ground, there should be a shrine right there that maybe you hadn't found. Because it's a little easier to see the light routes because they glow. So underground, it's basically like pitch black unless you have either like the a tire that has lights on it, or you built some sort of contraption with a light on it, or if you shoot off these light bloom arrows. Or I think you can just set down the light blooms too, but the arrows like actually let you shoot them out in front of you so you can get kind of a path. And there's a big one and there's a little one. And now I'm finally getting to the point where I've used all my big ones and I have like 700 of the little ones, but the little ones are like, they light up 2 feet. And it's like, I'm just shooting off a million of these things. So there's like this storyline of one of the women in the main mission area, fort area, where it's like, hey, go underground and investigate these statues because they seem to be leading to things. So like I did one of those, and it took me to the auto build thing, actually, because I think we talked about that a little bit, because that was one of my early complaints about the game, is like once I build one of these things, it feels like kind of a chore to then have to build it again. But as it turns out, there's an auto build feature that saves things that you had built recently, and you can then also like save them. So basically you scatter your parts out on the ground or come up to them as they naturally occur in the world, and then you can just press the button and it'll all build it together, which is nice. I still don't find myself using the building abilities enough for that to really do much for me. In fact, like there's two camps that I fall into. Like I like it when I'm trying to puzzle solve something, but as a general like use case of like, oh, here's this very large enemy that I've seen people on YouTube build like gigantic drone strike machines to take out very easily so you don't get killed because it's still overpowered for you, even if you have a ton of hearts and stuff. But like, I'm still there just like trying to chip away at them with a shitty sword. And I don't know if the game's intention is for me to be utilizing those things in that way, or if that's just the way people are breaking the game and I'm just not powerful enough to beat these things, or if their intention is for me to utilize those features a little more in combat as well as just the puzzle solving. So yeah, the puzzle solving stuff I like, but feeling like I have to make these machines for like traversal and stuff is a little more aggravating. But I've realized in myself that like I don't have as much of a problem with this underworld stuff if I'm like attentive and ready to play a video game. But if I'm like at the end of the day and I'm just trying to get to the next mission, that's when it really starts to aggravate me. It's just like, this is kind of boring. Like, what's going on here? So like this morning I was playing it again, and I didn't have nearly the problem that I did that night when I was trying to, what I thought was like get closer to wrapping it up. But that's the problem I'm having now, is I haven't done a lot of stuff in the underworld area. So now this final stretch of the game seemingly is going to be extended out, because it doesn't seem like I can. I mean, if I looked up on a walkthrough or something, I could probably just like go towards that area wherever Ganondorf is. But because I'm not, the person that's supposed to be like directing me towards that is like, did you do this part of the quest yet, where you have to follow these statues on the underground and maybe it'll lead you to something else? And I'm like, okay, are we doing this? All right. So I've been struggling with that a little bit. I'm still just like, I would like to see Zelda return to a more, I guess linear is the proper term, like a more focused experience. Maybe it feels like there are just a lot of systems in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild that I don't necessarily want to always be engaging with. And I like that these games were made, and I like them as Zelda games even. I think from what I have played of Tears of the Kingdom so far, it is a fantastic game. But at the same time, I don't want it to be the only Zelda game that exists from now on. You know, I feel like with this game, they have kind of hit the wall, and maybe that's just my lack of creativity. I mean, maybe the team over there can, you know, pull off some shit that I've never seen, and in a way that they kind of did with this game over Breath of the Wild, with basically these game-breaking abilities that they give you, you know, popping through the ground and stuff. But it is something that I've been thinking about a lot, especially leading up into like Game of the Year discussions and stuff like that, is like, where do I actually sit with this game, because I was super into it when it first came out, and then I took such a long break from it. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds now, where it's like I'm not in the blindness of like, oh, it just came out and I'm super into it, but I'm also not like falling prey to recency bias, because I am coming back and revisiting this game and hopefully beating it soon. So yeah, I think overall I'm kind of mellowing out on my like more harsh opinions of some of the aspects of the game that I wasn't really liking. But there's still stuff that I still have criticisms about the game. You know, it's not a perfect game in the way that maybe some people would say, but at the same time, I don't want to, you know, attribute that to anybody. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Zelda. What have you been playing, Dominic?
All right, so I've been playing some Vampire Survivors, playing some of that new story stuff. I almost finished the old man story. Overall, I did finish it as far as like the stages, but there's some extra stuff I didn't do. I did start one of the other ones. I'm playing as some woman. I forgot which woman you're playing as. But it's been a while, because that was like over a week ago since I played it now. So I don't exactly remember. But I was playing a ton of that. Then I've been playing some Horizon. I'm near the end of the main story. So I should be I can start that not Forbidden West. The Frozen something. The DLC was called. And so yeah, I want to finally get into that. I also been playing Super Mario Wonder. I mean, I played a little bit of it. Like, I'm playing some stages on that, and I think I'm trying to remember what was the last thing I did on there. It was a stage where, I think it's one of those extra bonus type of stages where I had to run, and I was like a race. Yeah, it was a race between me and, what was it? Was it a bug? Was it the caterpillar bug or something?
Oh, I forget. I'm trying to think if I did. I think I did that.
But it was in the beginning because I haven't gotten far. I did that, and I mean, I like the creativity of the stages. I just don't play long. Like, I just play a couple stages, then I'm done, and I'll put it down. Because most of the time, I mean, when I was playing it, I was playing it while I was playing Starfield. Now, in Starfield, I did the NVIDIA. I'm doing the NVIDIA GeForce Now, and I went because I was like, hey, let me go do that since now they got Game Pass games up there. And that's why I was asking for your password, because you gotta keep signing in every time you get up there.
Yeah.
So I played up there, and like the game, like, and they call it a basic rig for the free version of this, and there's a deal for the 6 months one for the high powered 6 month one is $50 plus you get 3 months of PC Game Pass.
Interesting.
Which I was kind of hoping it was just Ultimate, and then I was hoping it would be just the amount of GeForce you have. If it's 6 months,
right?
If it's 6 months of GeForce, give me 6 months of Game Pass, you bastards. But anyway, but yeah, I was hoping like it would just be a bundle anyway. Like, it's like, do you have just a bundle like thing like Microsoft? Or Microsoft, GeForce, or whatever.
They hate bundles, like, Dominic. They wouldn't even give us a family plan.
I know. Like, where I can just have that, man. Because, Starfield, that hour, because you only get an hour until you have to sign back in again. Man, that hour go by fast on Starfield.
Starfield. I can imagine.
Because I was like, oh, man, damn. I said, yeah, this is quick. But the game, it looks so good on a basic rig. And I was like, man, and it's like, man, that's PC elitists, they call this basic, and this ain't no fucking basic. Because I was like, this looks so much better than the streaming on for the Xbox Series X.
Right.
And I'm not saying, well, The stream is better. Yeah, streaming is better, but I think it just looks better. Period. Anyway, because that's running at 60 frames per second, or just about 60 frames per second,
Right.
and 1080p, while the Xbox Series X is 30 frames per second, and
Yeah.
and like it's not only that it's 30 frames per second. Like graphically, I was looking at like, man, whatever rig they're using as their basic rig, it looks better than the Xbox Series X. And I was like, I mean, I can see why some people were complaining about sometimes graphically about the game, because they were saying like, man, it doesn't look as good as I thought. I say, darn, but if you look on the PC version, I was like, it does look pretty damn good. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's still an opinion. Maybe you want to look better than that, but I was looking compared to what the Xbox Series X is putting out, and then whatever what that is for Nvidia, I was like that. The Nvidia looks like much better and runs better, and I was like, darn, it sucks that they couldn't. This game couldn't be put on the Xbox Series X, like to look something like that, because I don't even think it. Because even looking at the Nvidia, I mean, it looks great, but it doesn't. I would never thought, like, if somebody would have said, "Hey, this is running the Xbox Series X," I would never thought like, "Oh, okay." Like, I would think that would be it could run on the Xbox Series X, but now that you're telling me that it couldn't, I guess because of how much stuff is in the game, I guess you would say, not that because it's like, yes, I've seen games look better than Starfield,
Yeah.
but I guess because of how much Starfield has. That's the reason why it still sucks. Like, 'cause I'm thinking, like, man, that is no way that game could not look like that. I said that kind of sucks. Like, because it doesn't even. It still wouldn't even be considered like the top looking game,
Yeah.
even if it got to that point. If it got to the point of like what it runs on PC, it wouldn't even be considered a top looking game. Like of all the games, it'll be good looking though, but that sucks that it couldn't do that. The console was not that powerful to put that output. I mean, it's still fun. I mean, overall the game is still fun. I mean, that's a take away from that for me. I mean, because I started over because I wanted to be a little more like I want to do some bad things, like but even though I haven't done that yet, because I'm trying to get powerful enough so I can just go ahead and pirate ships and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm taking a crew with me that are usually randos, not the main characters. Which there are people who have complaints like me, like that. How come none of the main characters are? They're all goody two shoes. They all get
Right.
mad when you do something illegal. It's like, dude, you give us a choice to be assholes. Can't you give us some characters we can be assholes with?
Right.
Like that's pretty
seems
much
silly.
not fair. Yeah. And I think somebody said, what about Vasco, which is the robot? I think somebody said Vasco even does something. I gotta look that up. Because that sucks if he does. If he complains like, oh no, that's illegal. Blah, blah, blah.
You're a robot. You have no morals.
Exactly. Oh, and I was speaking to one character that was even talking about robots, saying like, their sentience is, and I was like, they're just like us, and I was like, no, I'm glad to give you a choice, saying, no, they're not. They're tools. It said some people have say, what's your and I say they're not human. I say, look, robots. Say yes, I'm not gonna be being on them or nothing, but they're not humans. And she said, like, what's your, like, people have different definitions of what humans are. And I said, those people are weirdos then. That's what I think. I'm like, what the fuck? I say, no. I would say, okay, then those fucking weirdos. Because it's a robot. I say, we know what a robot is. And we should never let it get to the point where it can start thinking and ask some questions like that. It gets to that point, you shut it down. Yeah, shut them down. I was like, nope. All right. But yeah, Starfield. Yeah, I do like GeoForce now is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. If the wait times, I didn't have really long wait times.
No,
like sometimes I see it where it's like 200. I mean, I'm choosing when to do it. Like if you do it at like the hours after work, or after school, people are out of school and stuff. Yes, the wait times are going to be long. But one time I think I seen like 200. Well, like I see 200 something people. It says right here in front of you. It goes down fast. I don't know. So that's why I don't know what does that even mean? Like those numbers now. Like, because sometimes it goes real fast. And one time I think I was at 100. It took a little longer than I was at 200. So I was just lucky that everybody quit or what else. Like, I don't know. But they're not even offering you like a 1 month of the upgrade. Like, they only offered 6 months of the 2 upgrades you can do, because you got free, then you got the middle tier, then you got the higher tier, where the middle tier is just it's not as powerful as a PC, but you get all the benefits. It's not as powerful as a PC. It's not the most powerful PC. The upper tier is the 4090. Is that the highest one or something like that?
Yeah,
I think that's that one. But they're not offering you like 1 month though down like they used to. They said because there's not enough rigs, so they offer you the 6 months. And I was like, that's bullshit. I said bullshit. You just don't want me to. You just trying to get people to get that 6 months, like instead of the 1 month.
Figure this out.
Yeah. And then it's probably waiting until after the deal is over with, because it's a holiday deal. I don't know when it's over with. Yeah. I bet you when it's over with, that's when they'll go back to, hey, you can buy 1 month now. Because I was thinking about it. Like, I'll do a month. I think it's $9.99, $10 for the middle tier. It's $20 for the higher tier. But
you said that does come with PC Game Pass, right?
The higher tier comes, I think that's only if you get 6 months.
I was going to say, so but you also said it's not 6 months of Game Pass either, right?
No, it's 3 months of Game Pass.
So it's not like
a PC Game Pass.
$10 for this, $10 for that. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, but no. The it comes with the PC. Now, here's the thing. You automatic if you already have Game Pass like you have it already. Mm-hmm. That doesn't matter. You already have Game Pass. Like, it's not that you have to buy because if you're I can. That's the reason being. So that's only if you don't have Game Pass. That is a deal. Like, you would think okay, maybe if I want to use GeoForce Now, and I'll get the Game Pass deal with that. Like, you get it for free, like you said. But it's not really a deal. I mean, because like I said, it's only you're gonna get 3 months for free. So you still will have to pay for Game Pass. You still have to find a separate deal for Game Pass, basically, eventually. But right now, you already pay for Game Pass, so you would I guess you'd just get it for free, but you wouldn't use it.
I'd hope they at least tack on an extra 3 months somewhere,
Yeah, but that's the problem, is that you got Game Pass Ultimate, and that's just PC Game Pass, and that's what I think. Yeah, that's why I was like, that's kind of sucks. It's like, if you're going to just give us 3 months anyway, why let's give us 3 months of the highest Game Pass? Come on now, Microsoft, y'all can do that. The technology is good with that, the streaming stuff. The pricing is up to you if it's worth it. That's the thing. Because they only have certain choices of games up there. There is a lot of choices, but it's not every game, and which is unfortunate. I wish that the bigger companies like Warner Brother Games and who else I didn't see up there. I don't think EA is up there. No, I don't think EA is up there.
Is Ubisoft on there?
Huh?
Is Ubisoft on there?
Yeah, Ubisoft is up there. Okay. They were one of the first. I think they were one of the first ones. Yeah, they're one of the first ones. Okay. Yeah, they are up there. But I wish some of these bigger game companies will be up there. Like CD Projekt Red games are up there. Yeah. So yeah, it is great. Especially if you don't have that, you don't have the rig. And that definitely gives you that experience, of the optimal experience of how to play those games on a nice computer without having to pay for a nice computer. All right, so I guess that is it, and we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're flashbacking to 2014. So now we got a whole new year. So we go a whole new 10 years. And we're just going to start with covers now. No really games worth mentioning for this week. We'll start saying some games. If I find some games that was worth mentioning for the first few weeks of January, I'll mention them next week. So now we go back to 2014, look at the video game magazine covers for that month, and the first one we got is Edge Magazine, and they got Dark Souls 2 on the front. So, all hail the last great adventure of the PS3 360 generation. Yes, this was the last Dark Souls for that generation. Yeah, and it also came on the newer consoles too at the time.
I forgot it came out on the old ones.
And yeah, Dark Souls 2, never played it. Never played it because all I played was Dark Souls, and that was enough for me. Yeah. And yeah, this isn't our game, but people were anticipating this. And yeah, I think people really love this one. They really like Dark Souls 2. This is probably, I don't know. I mean, I think it's the best one of the three, right? Overall, what people would say.
I don't remember. I thought this one was the one that like people weren't as happy with. But
I thought it was 3.
I can never keep it straight.
Darn.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3.
I mean, it just seemed like 3. I just didn't hear a whole lot of fanfare over, and maybe it could be because 2 wasn't what people how, but I have no idea. But yeah, I know people really anticipated this game. I didn't really hear like Game of the Year stuff for Dark Souls 2 or anything.
I mean, the funny thing is we didn't even hear Game of the Year stuff for Dark Souls 1 outside of like what GameSpot gave it to them. Like we didn't even hear talk about that game originally.
No, Demon Souls. Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Yeah, that was the one they gave. Because that's what I didn't know what it was, and I called GameSpot. I said, "What the hell's wrong with y'all? Y'all a bunch of losers." I've never even heard this game.
Right,
then when I saw it,
Dark
I was like,
Souls that
this game
finally picked
horrible.
up the name recognition on that one. Got it.
Let me see. What did Dark Souls 2 get on like Metacritic? It got a 91, 92.
Not bad if that's the worst one.
Yeah, for some reason I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Yeah, I got Game of the Year from the Golden Joystick Awards.
Oh wow.
And the Game Awards, at the Game Awards, Dark Souls received the nominations for Game of the Year and Best Role Playing and Best Online. Oh, but it didn't win them.
Yeah, 3 has an 89, so
yeah. All right, so where we at here? Now we got, I didn't even finish talking about what's on here. Sony's Secret Weapon, Vita TV review.
Oh, yeah.
That's a secret weapon, Daniel.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Still secret to this day, even from Sony.
The Edge Awards revealed the winners of 2013. All hail the last... Oh, I already said that. Oh, my fault. Quantum Break. Here we go.
Yeah.
Inside the bizarre, game/TV fusion for the creators of Alan Wake. Yes, they had a hit TV show. And... God damn it. God, I'm at the end of this cold, but still got...
It seems like this season has taken like everybody out. And I was dealing with
man.
Similar stuff for a while there.
Blame all you people who go outside. All right, so... all right, Killzone, Shadowfall, Forza, Motorsport 5, Killer Instinct. These are all the games to review. Dead Rising 3, Rise, Son of Rome. These are all next-gen games.
I was going to say all those
Need for
launch
Speed Rivals,
games.
Crimson Dragon, and Resogun. And this is Edge Magazine, so none of these got good scores. Except for Forza. Forza got a good score. PS4 plus Xbox One review special. Oh, I guess I just said them. All right. So what else we got here? We got Game Informer. And Destiny. Look at this coming.
Yeah.
Man, this is one of the most anticipated games. People are really looking forward to it. This is going to be like the game changer. I mean, it's like Bungie, man. Bungie's going everywhere, and they making this huge fucking first-person shooter. It's going to be one of the best things ever. And it was something, man.
It was something.
Yeah. I mean, people did love it. People loved it, but it was, oh man, it was so disappointing for me. God damn. Pissed me off. $60. $60 down the fucking drain. That's exactly what it was. Was for me. I mean, I could have just saved money and got the goddamn game of the year, and at least I got the extra shit.
Uh-huh. When it actually turned into a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And never got to play what everybody can say the best thing of the game because they don't allow freaking matchmaking for it.
Yep.
Of the raids. Pissed me off to this day. All right. So, but that's a nice cover, though. That is a nice cover.
Their artwork was nice, yes.
That was a nice cover. All right. So, now we're going back 20 years. 20 years ago, 2004, Nintendo Power, they got Mario Kart Double Dash. Mm-hmm. So now you got Luigi on the back of Mario's kart and some doing crazy stuff. I never played Double Dash. I don't know none of the rules or anything of that. So how'd you like Double Dash again? Because I know we talked about it
Double
before.
Dash was okay, but it wasn't my favorite with the whole switching mechanic between the two. And really, like, it's funny that at the time I didn't like it, because the reality is I don't know that it actually changed much of anything. It's really just like a visual representation of being able to hold the item, hold a second item. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see if, like, maybe they went back to this concept in the next Mario Kart.
Oh, okay. And what else we got up here? We got Sonic Boom. I don't know what the hell that means.
Maybe it's because Sonic Boom was bad, so it's a boom towards Sonic.
It's not boom, it's boon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe they were like, it's a bad review because we're a Nintendo magazine. Ha ha ha.
But that's the thing. It's like, what? I don't even know what that is. Like, what Sonic game are they talking about?
Nah,
because Sonic Boom with the M, and doesn't even come out till like.
I was gonna say that's much more
20
recent.
years,
and that's definitely not the Sonic model for Boom. It doesn't have enough wrist tape on.
The what is this? The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. You got Beyond Good and Evil, Sword of Mana, a mana game. Also, 1080 Avalanche. And Mario Party 5 and Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Gotta love some Dragon Ball.
And now we got the unofficial PlayStation magazine. It's unofficial, unbiased, and unrivaled.
Ooh.
And you got on here some ninja lady. I don't know
Sexy
what game
Shinobi
she's from.
is what that is.
Nightshade Takes Shape. Sega's Nightshade. I don't know what that game is. PS2 preview 2004. The games, systems, and secrets that will make this year the best ever. And 2004's biggest game was Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. And they got Resident Evil Outbreak. That's the online shooter game. The four-player cooperative game. You got Gran Turismo 4. Got Dead to Rights 2, Hell to Pay. And got the PSP, the top secret plans for Sony's portable. First ever images included. Daniel.
It's always a secret.
Look at this.
Sony's releasing a portable related thing.
PS3 revealed when you'll get your first look.
Ooh.
Hint, it's sooner than you think.
Oh, it's inside this magazine. That's what they want me to think.
Yeah, it was a Secrets Exposed 2004's biggest events, rumors, and hush-hush games. Yeah, I still want to know what Nightshade is. I don't know. Did you look that game up?
Yeah, it looks basically like a 3D action ninja game.
Oh, okay.
Lady Ninja. It also, she has kind of like this long tail behind her too as she moves, almost like Shinobi did.
Oh, okay. She
Very
she
much
does look like
feels
a Lady Shinobi.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And I mean, it should be. Is it made by the same guys?
That's a good question.
Because it's Sega.
Yeah. Oh, it is part of the Shinobi series, in fact.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is Lady Shinobi.
It is the 11th game in the Shinobi series.
All right, so now we got Game Pro. And we got Max Payne 2 on the front.
Yeah.
Look at that gritty pick. Also, College Hoops, baby. And somebody March Madness 2004.
It's really weird that he just got this hand reaching in with a basketball on Max Payne's shoulder.
ESPN College Basketball 2K4. You also got 90 plus games inside. 90 plus, man. You can't get the 100.
Right?
True Crime, Streets of LA, SOCOM 2, U.S. Navy SEALs, Medal of Honor, Rising Sun, Need for Speed, Underground. You got Sonic Returns for Sonic Heroes from the GameCube. And 13, you see right here. And
it's
then
so
you have,
funny that you say 90 plus. Because that's definitely 91 to 99. There's no in between. Because if they had 100, they would say 100.
Yeah, exactly. But they do have 130 plus new and tested game codes, though, Daniel.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm strategy guide for Final Fantasy X-2. New year, new look. The world's best video game magazine just got better. And that's what it says now. It used to say it was like the biggest selling one or something. But then Game Informer took over because it got giving them out at fucking Funkoland / GameStop. And then now they just say we're the best. And you can't dispute that because it's all opinion. So what else we have here? We're going back 30 years now. 30 years ago, I was in third grade. Yep, third grade. Also sad because we had to come back to school from holiday break. So what we got here? Well, technically this came out in December, but whatever. Mortal Kombat 2 on the front. Which is funny because I think a few months ago it was Mortal Kombat 1. Because I was looking, I was like, we just did a Mortal Kombat, and I think I looked a few months back, and I saw, Mortal Kombat 1, but this is Mortal Kombat 2 for the arcade. Mortal Kombat 1 for the consoles.
That makes sense.
So you got new characters, new moves, new fatalities on page 28. And they got arcade strategy guys, Super Street Fighter 2, killer combos and techniques. And yeah, he's one of the new guys. What's his name? Baraka?
Yeah, Baraka.
Excuse me. Yeah, he was in. He wasn't in one.
Melina.
The guy in the hat wasn't in one either, right?
Raiden was in number 1, but he looks different. He has like the blue.
Not Raiden. The guy on the bottom.
Kung Lao. Yeah.
Yeah. God darn, he was right on the background. Yeah, Kung Lao wasn't too. Yeah, because I remember him in one. I honestly don't. Is this supposed to be? Who's the girl in the purple supposed to be?
Melina.
Is that Melina? Okay,
Yeah,
that is Melina, and she was in first time was in 2, right?
Yeah, in 2.
And she wasn't in 1. It was just her sister.
Nah, Katana wasn't even in number 1.
Oh, was it? So Sonya Blade? It was no other female?
I think it was just Sonya. That MK1 roster was tiny. It was like Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kano, Raiden, not Katana, Sonya, and Johnny Cage, maybe?
Oh, yeah. That was, I guess, yeah, that was the time when you couldn't have more than one woman. Because Street Fighter, other than Chun-Li, who was it?
That's a good question. Because Cammy didn't come in until later, right?
No, she to Turbo. I mean, Super Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Super Street Fighter. She came in. Yep, that's right. So they did the quota. They were okay.
I forgot Liu Kang somehow.
Yeah. Well, no, but I was. Oh yeah. But yeah. So yeah, the quota was you just had one woman. Yeah. Okay, so they were good. that made sense.
Which is just messed up because you have all these dudes beating up this one woman.
All right, so what else we got here? We got they got some reviews. We got Eternal Champions, which is the Sega game, fighting game. Mega Man X. Oh yeah, NFL Football '94, starring Joe Montana, and Flashback. I don't know what that game is. But Sonic the Hedgehog CD, Sonic Spinball, Rescue Rangers 2. Yeah, I played Rescue Rangers 1. I don't think I ever played 2. Tetris 2, Lawnmower Man. That was a weird movie. I liked it as a kid, but I also was a kid, so I don't know if the movie was a good movie or not.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
NBA Jam comes home. Yes, I couldn't wait for this game. Atari Jaguar reviews. Cybermorph on page 22. I don't know if that's a good game or not. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, you gotta get the SWAT Pro magazine, Daniel. Whatever the hell that is. I mean, what you do with that? Like, what is this magazine? Is it a strategy magazine or something? I don't know. All right. What else we got here? We got the Nintendo magazine for where were we at? 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Mega Man X on the front.
Mm-hmm.
This is when Mega Man went extreme.
Yep. 90s everybody was.
Yeah. Fast Action Super Blast. And yeah, I like Mega Man X.
X is still my favorite in the series.
Yeah. Also, Super Nintendo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tournament Fighters. I like that game too. I enjoyed that game. I like the look of it. I just like the look of how the turtles were, the color of the stuff. Man, it was cool. Let me see here. Yeah, it's not even much on the Nintendo Power. I mean, it's a nice cover. I mean, it's all right cover though. I mean, I do like the Mega Man. I only care about seeing him change in the background right here. They could have just had him.
I've never seen Mega Man turn into Mega Man X.
Yeah. All right, so what we have here? Game Informer, NBA Jam. I had this magazine. And yep, I was like, yes, I cannot wait to be able to play this at home. NBA Jam, first look at this hot new cart. The hot new cart, Daniel. That's what they call carts back then. Special pull-out section for Teenage Mutant Ninja Tournament Fighters. Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember just the magazines having those things. Like you pull out and see like either a big map of stage or
April
like a poster.
Pinup.
Yeah. In a sexy yellow jumpsuit. Sonic Mania. I reviewed Sonic Spinball and Sonic CD. Oh, I was playing some Sonic Spinball like 2 weeks ago on the Switch.
Yeah.
You know, through the Genesis thing game. And yeah, I was playing through that. I went through. I got to the third stage. It's a lot farther than I did when I originally played the game back when I was little. Only because I could save anywhere. So that's why every time I got close to messing up, I would just hit you can rewind. Oh, you can rewind. So I was like, yes, this feature definitely works out. Man, that game feels so slow now. It seems so much faster back then. It felt so much faster. This is all the new moves for Mortal Kombat inside. Plus FIFA Soccer, Sleep Heed, Soldiers of Fortune, and Lawnmower Man. Man, Lawnmower Man, yeah. That's one of the top games, Daniel. All in-depth look also in Sega's Eternal Champions, the Sega fighting game. All right. They need to bring that back. I think I said that before. Might be in my predictions. When we do predictions. This EGM, Electron Game Monthly, 30 years ago had Mortal Kombat 2 on the front, and this is what the actual actors. But I don't know. They were the actual actors that actually did the scenes. I mean, like not the scenes, but the were they in the game?
Did
they go by these faces?
Be them. Not totally sure. That Baraka mask isn't official, though. I'll tell you that. That thing looks bad.
Yeah, it really does.
Even with how they're trying to cover it with the smoke, it's not doing it.
You got the first info on Sony's PSX, and in NEC's FX 32-bit game system. What's the NEC? What's NEC?
What did they do?
I was going to say Nintendo Entertainment Computers.
They did the Turbo Graphics. That's what they did.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, I lost my... oh, there it is. All right, so that's well, you see some of them. Well, you know one of them is going to last. Yeah. See the first look at those things. And what else I got here? What's this in the corner? EGM exclusive NBA Jam coverage for Super Nintendo and Genesis. How are they exclusive? The other ones got it too.
They had different coverage. This is exclusive. Yeah. This is exclusive coverage that you don't see in that other magazine that we aren't going to name.
Yeah.
Seeing these people in these real Mortal Kombat costumes makes me want to go back and look at the TV show that used to come on after wrestling.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, on Saturdays used to come on at the I remember it coming on Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, there would be a couple of times because I think it would come
after the afternoon
wrestling. Yeah, they paired those together. They knew their audience, Dominic, and it was me.
And it was what was that other wrestling show that had a storyline? They used to come on.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of reminded. Because that's why I got confused with Mortal Kombat. I thought it was that one time, and I was like, "Oh no, this is actually a real series. This is actually."
It's like something Legends or something.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like a guy that looked like Sub-Zero on it.
Yeah, I think we actually looked it up. I think it only lasts for like one season.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, it was legendary. All right, so that's it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic. It's light in the gaming news world, but I got a couple of things here. First up, Silent Hill 2 Remake and Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, the remake of that game. Pretty interesting that it's coming exactly 20 years after the original release of that, now seemingly. They were given 2024 dates in a Sony YouTube video that was showing off the games of 2024. So, okay. Honestly, I'm not totally sure that I was expecting those games to come out in 2024, or at least one of them to come out and one not to, but that's good. I was going to say good for Sony, but Delta's definitely not exclusive. I think Silent Hill might be. And considering what feels like a pretty light schedule for Sony so far, they definitely need something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because we haven't really heard a big first party for this year.
Yeah.
Like the last thing we really heard was Spider-Man. We don't know any exact dates of anything else, or really in real announcements. I mean, the only thing we know is The Last of Us Part 2 remake.
Yeah, which will be out by the end of the month.
So, yeah, we don't know anything. So maybe they'll surprise us, or maybe they don't. I don't know.
I think they're going to surprise us, but maybe a little too much in a way I don't want, Dominic. We'll talk about that during predictions.
Okay. All right, so what else we got?
So this other one I thought was interesting. It's worth talking about here. The Switch is getting a flash cart, Dominic, after basically it's an entire lifespan. Obviously, there are ways to hack your Switch to play ROMs and pirated software and, backups of games that you may have backed up yourself, of course. But now there is a thing called the MIG Switch coming out. It's going to be a flash cart like you may have seen for like a 3DS or a DS. Basically a game cart size thing that you put an SD card into and it goes into your game slot. It's coming out in March and is only going to be $65. I feel like those things are usually more expensive than that. Of course, it doesn't come with the SD card, so you got to provide that yourself. But essentially, it gives you a means to play backups of your games, we will say for legal purposes, without having to switch carts, and not, going the full digital route, of course. Now I was looking at some of this stuff on the Flash Cart Reddit, which apparently is a thing, like a general Flash Cart Reddit, which I guess covers all the systems. And they were saying that like this is all right, but the problem that people might run into that are maybe looking to do more nefarious things or even backing up their own games but then selling their games is that each of the games has a unique identifier that would then, if you were online with the flashcart ripped version and somebody else or even you played on another system with the actual cartridge, that could potentially get your account banned. So it sounds like this isn't as simple as, hey, now I can download all the ROMs off the internet and put them on this flash cart and run them without hacking my Switch. So that maybe limits the purposes.
Can you just use it without going online, or you have to be online?
So that's the thing. I think some people were saying, this would basically mean you would just have to leave your Switch in airplane mode for the rest of its time. I mean, if you're playing only single player games, that could potentially be a method for that. The thing that it makes me wonder about is like if the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, is there a way for Nintendo to disable your ability to use this on that system, or would that also then be a vulnerability for that system? It's interesting because as we move into the Switch 2 timeline, it is a thing that I consider now that, my Switch is part of that first initial run where NVIDIA chips were just borked basically and could allow you to, run an exploit on there to basically jailbreak your Switch. I wonder if once the Switch 2 launches, if it's maybe worth my time to investigate that kind of stuff. Now, with them potentially making it backwards compatible and hopefully even making it so those games from the original Switch run a little better on that hardware, like the Microsoft route of things, like then maybe that dissuades me from being interested in playing those games on the old Switch anymore. But there's definitely a use case there that I could see in jailbreaking the Switch and making it useful past its lifespan, basically. What do you think, Dominic? Any interest in a flash cart? Have you experienced any experience with a flash cart in the past? I got one recently for Game Boy Advance, just for my daughter to play with. But that's been about it.
All right, so you put it in your Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, so I got one of my Game Boy Advances for her to play around with and just dumped a whole bunch of games on there so she can kind of just pick and choose what she wants. Typically it's Sonic, though, so I'm raising a monster is what I'm saying.
Whatever.
But that's been my first experience with one. I always looked at the DS one and the 3DS one with, like that looked really cool, but I never actually committed to getting one because, like I said, they always seemed like they were pretty expensive.
I mean, I wouldn't mind like something like that, but I don't want, at the risk of like getting my account banned. I don't want that. No. It's just, I don't know if that's worth it for. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it all depends if either you just don't care. But for me, I don't want to take the risk because some things I do want to play online, and I want to have the option. Even though I don't play a lot, I want to have that option always available to me, and I don't want to get banned. I'll just have to I just rather just have a handheld that does that, that already just plays it, plays all those games, than to use a console I already have to do that. I mean, if there's a flash card that can be used for my my Wii U controller or something, then yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, they definitely have
some use
means
for that.
to jailbreak that stuff, and I think at that point with the Wii U, I think you might just need an SD card. You don't even need like an extra device for that. So,
Oh yeah, again, because I can't go online, I was like, man, it's got to
right.
be something that's a whole lot easier to play some games up there. Because if I can't go online, I can't do those little homebrew crap y'all used to do. I hated it. I always hated that. It's like, come on, man, y'all better hackers out there.
Yeah, I think the Wii U you can get into pretty quickly nowadays. So might be worth looking into. All right, Dominic. Yeah, that's basically the news that I saw worth talking about this week. There's also some stuff out there, like Square put out a letter talking about, how they're going to start using AI in their games more. Basically, an investor letter, the same way that forever they were saying like, oh yeah, Bitcoin and NFTs, yeah, and the digital currency, not what is the thing I'm trying to blockchain, yeah, blockchain stuff. Now they've pivoted their business speak into AI, and I saw something. It might have been just on Reddit, but that people were speculating that some of the new Apex Legends stuff is using AI. And
AI
people are
what,
not happy
though?
about that. To do some like their artwork, which is
Okay.
which is the biggest problem, because like there's a lot of people talking about use of AI and using AI to like write code and stuff, where like there probably is similar issues there, because it's still, what we're considering AI is really just database and like learning from that. So like it's gotta start with somebody else's code basically, unless you can just program it based on your code, which I think you can do, and you can probably do that with art too, but that's not what like these Mind Journey and Chat GPT and Bing Art and stuff is doing right now. So I wonder. Yeah, this post on Reddit that I saw is on Our Gaming is from a day ago, but now when I go into it, it has been removed. So I wonder if that has kind of been redacted there and not actually the case. But yeah, I think we're gonna be seeing some of that a lot more. And much the way we talk about like ray tracing, as far as like potentially making it easier on developers so they don't have to like program in all these weird tricks and whatnot to get lighting to look right. I feel like we're going to start seeing AI used to write lines of code that, maybe doesn't need the skilled hands of a programmer as much. And, that's maybe a way we talked, I think last time we recorded about, the expense of games and the basically unsustainability of these huge games. But I can't help but wonder if this is maybe a means for those games to continue to exist on a much smaller human budget. Like, here's your Assassin's Creed with 50 billion missions, but they've all been programmed by AI and they're all voice acted by AI generated voices, so like we can create perpetual content. Oh man, I wonder if that's where live service games go, honestly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like the idea of AI voice acting only in games like Yakuza, where they don't have English actors.
Yeah, no, we've definitely talked about that, because even I was watching somebody playing Dave the Diver, and just to see what that game was all about, and they were reading the voices, and I was like, man, that's kind of convenient. I really wish there was just a means of, in some ways, I don't even think it needs to be like superhuman. Obviously, it would be nicer the more realistic it sounds. But yeah, even if there was like a on-screen reader-esque thing where it's like, I'm too lazy
like
right now
game,
to read.
Pentiment. Pentiment had that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it had that thing.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if they had the AI where it can at least sound like a real voice person, so I could have like a Morgan Freeman like voice reading to me.
You know what? Even if I could just record my own voice and then have it like AI generate, I would be fine with that. But like, man, playing Zelda again, it comes back to me being tired while playing these games. But like playing Zelda and just being like, God, you have like 5 seconds of someone actually saying things. Like, you had a voice actor for this person come in and say lines for literally 5 seconds, and then you go back to me just reading blocks and blocks of text. Like, it is just so aggravating. Like, that's when you get into like these Game of the Year discussions where it's like Baldur's Gate versus Zelda, and it's like, you know what? I kind of got to give Baldur's Gate credit for like having 99% of the characters in their game voice acted versus Zelda, where you're hitting main story beats through text with highlighted words. And it's like, man, you're Nintendo. You're one of the biggest companies in the world. Like, put some extra production value in this, please.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, Dominic. So with all that out of the way, I think to continue the trend that we have set up in the past, continue the precedent. We're going to take a look at some of the predictions that we spelled out at the end of last year, the beginning of last year, I guess, end of the previous year. Into 2023, our 2023 predictions, and then after that we will go into some of our 2024 predictions.
Yes, and you know what? So next week we should do a year review then.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing, because I don't expect to see much news in the next week either, unless I think CES is over this next week. And maybe we'll see something out of there, but probably not much, I would imagine. So it's not like
the only game I'm going to probably be playing is Starfield, because I'm kind of into that right now.
Nice. Glad to see it's clicking now. All right, so predictions here. I think I'll do one from each list and go back and forth. First up, I had Microsoft closes the Activision deal following harsh pushback and reactions to recent layoffs. I don't know how much it had to do with any of the layoffs at that time, but they definitely did, receive a lot of, pushback from these governments, almost in what I would consider a surprising way. There was a lot of skepticism that deal wasn't even going to close, especially following some of the stuff out of the UK. So, yeah, we're there now.
Yeah, the UK.
Now it's 2024.
And then with the US and with the
they did try.
What's it called?
What's
it called? Yeah, FTC. Yeah, treasonous stuff. Very treasonous.
How apropos to be talking about this on January 6th. All right, Dominic. First up from your list, we got 3D Mario announced and released. That was not the case. Now, it wasn't a part of your list, but were you expecting that to kind of coincide with a release of the Switch 2?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I wasn't.
All right.
Man, it was so Super Mario Wonder is not 3D.
You should have stuck with Mario game. I think.
Or what about Super Mario RPG?
That's not a new one. Well, you did. I don't know that you necessarily said new one. So you know what? Yeah, I'll count that. 3D, that's a win. All right, we got Microsoft has another unspectacular year following a delay of Starfield. That's what I said. We did not get a delay from Starfield, but they did have a relatively unspectacular year, depending on who you ask. So Xbox tax and all. All right, you had no Gears release, but a teaser with no gameplay. We unfortunately have not seen anything from Gears.
We didn't even see a teaser.
No, nothing yet. And they've got so many games. Like, I was thinking about my predictions, and I'm like, thinking of what games from Microsoft I could predict would release this year, but like I'm looking at Perfect Dark and looking at articles from the end of the year where it's like still years away, and I'm like, that's one of the ones that they announced like years and years ago. Like, what is actually going to come out this year then? Hellblade's going to come out, Dominic. That is ridiculous. Yeah. All right. You had said a new Persona announcement. We got lots of Persona announcements. And soon we will be getting new Persona. Well, not new Persona games. We will be getting Persona games because I think 3 comes out this month. So that stuff is coming up quick. All right. And next up, I had Metroid Prime 4 will re-debut near the end of the year and will launch as a cross-gen title alongside the Switch 2 in early 2024. The new Switch will not be announced till 2024 or closer to launch. I don't know why I have that part. I don't remember what happened there. But yeah, no Metroid Prime 4 talk at all. No new Switch talk at all. I'm starting to not think that we will see a early 2024 release of that thing, but still speculating on that. You had Konami releases a big hitter. I don't know what Konami released, but they definitely announced some pretty big hitters. You know,
they announced them. Stuff. Yeah, they didn't release anything. Yeah,
and the Silent Hill stuff. So I think we will see some pretty big things from them this year.
Move that over to 2024.
All right, put a star next to that one. All right, you also had Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer this year for release next year. We did get a trailer. That was exciting.
I had the trailer. It was for release freaking 2 years.
No one would have thought that it would be till 2025 that we would get that game.
Yeah.
All right. I had substantiated rumors of a Steam Deck revision beginning at the end of the year. As it turned out, they released a revision before the end of the year in the OLED version. And it seems like that's, and it's not just the OLED screen. They redid the interior, and then it seems like that thing is the one to get. You had EA MLB releasing in 2024. There's still hope for that, so we can put a star next to that one too.
Yes,
but we haven't seen anything. They haven't really talked about it. And usually those games would release around the beginning of the baseball season, right? So
yeah, but I don't know. If it's going to be like an arcade game, it could be something that come on an All-Star game or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
like it could be a crappy game. I mean, like a little like
like the MLB Direct one. They came out a couple of years ago. RBI Baseball or whatever they put back out. All right. And then I had PSVR 2 will succeed in 2023. Availability will be low through the holiday season. I don't know if we have numbers on it to say one way or the other if it succeeded, but it definitely seemed like availability was there for anybody that wanted it, especially by the end of the year. So I'm going to chalk that one up as a loss. And your final one was Dragon Age trailer. That would be Dreadwolf for release next year. Surprisingly, nothing from
trailer.
them.
We see no trailer.
No.
But it's got to come out this year, right?
It feels like it's got to come out this year. Like that's a holiday release this year, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't know when we see. Here's the thing about losing E3 is there's not one big moment when I'm expecting to start hearing about this stuff. It's literally like any day, any week, Nintendo could announce on Monday that they're going to have a Direct on Thursday, and the Switch 2 could be announced. Like, that's literally how this could go. I don't even think we got a Direct for the PlayStation 5 revision. It was just like a tweet that dropped out of nowhere, and it's like, yeah, this holiday season we're getting this revision. Like, it is kind of wild how like ubiquitous video game news has just become. Like, it just comes out of nowhere all the time now. So we could see a Dragon Age trailer in a week from now, not associated with like Summer Game Fest or what have you. But if I had to put my money down, if we don't see it before then, I would say that's a pretty safe lock for Summer Games Fest. You know, Jeff Keighley is had that stuff on the game show before, on the awards, I think, was where we first saw that game. So it seems like he has a good relationship with those guys. And if it is going to be coming out this year, then they got to put it out there at the very latest.
Was there any game? Was there any video game people on the Epstein list?
I had I'm trying to think of names that I have seen bandied about. Jimmy Kimmel, of course. I think he's related to. No, I'm kidding. I do not want to get sued by Jimmy Kimmel. Not man. I'm trying to think because I feel like there was one. No, the person I'm thinking of is what is this? Stephen Hawking.
Oh,
not video game related, but kind of computer sciencey guy.
He was on the list.
I believe I had seen some talk around.
He was mentioned. He was mentioned.
He was mentioned. He was yeah. I'm not gonna even jokingly throw out any names because that's a serious allegation, and yeah. So no John Carmack on there.
Okay, good.
All right.
I didn't want to have to feel bad playing some games.
There's plenty of reasons to feel bad about playing some games.
I know.
All right, so those were our predictions for 2023 and how they shook out. Dominic, do you want to kick off the 2024 predictions?
Yeah. All right, so my first prediction is that, well, it was my prediction, but they sort of already did. And NCAA football announcement this year, it seems like they're going to talk about it during the college football championship, maybe.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So
the EA is going to mention about who's, I don't know, some people saying they're going to say the cover person, but I'm like, I wait and see. I don't know, has that been confirmed? Like EA, NCAA football. Let me see. Is that like definitely Sports Illustrated? Yeah, Sports Illustrated said EA.
Oh, wow.
Sports College Football video game update coming Monday.
Damn.
Was an update coming Monday? I'm saying it's, I'm saying it's announced, and it'll be announced, and I think it'll come in the fall. I think it will come.
I can definitely see that
this fall.
If they're talking about it this early, it definitely feels like they're preparing to put something out.
Also, I'll say one more, and then you can say yours. I say March of this year will be the first launch of the Blizzard games on Game Pass. That's what I say.
All right.
All right. So I'm saying that it's not going to be, and I think it's going to be by piecemeal. It's not going to be like they're going to release everything like I want.
Do you think
we're
seeing like Call of Duties, or are we seeing like Overwatch or something?
We're going to see some Call of Duty. Like I think first we're going to see some early Call of Duties.
See a Tony Hawk 1 and 2 in there.
Maybe.
Crash 4.
But I think it might be PC. They might have some like either old Warcraft or Starcraft or something just come up, or
some let you play Heroes of the Storm again.
Yeah, some old game, something like that, like starting out. But then after time goes on, they'll just announce games coming through and pissing me off because they didn't just put all of them up there.
Yes. All
right. So what you got?
I'm gonna say that we see a PlayStation Pro this holiday, or PlayStation 5 Pro this holiday season, and we're also alongside that gonna get Ghost of Tsushima 2. I don't know that there's any other first-party developers that are far enough along on their projects to have anything else big from Sony. So I think Sony's gonna have a relatively unspectacular year, except for maybe a couple of big third-party hits. Like, obviously, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be big, but that's going to be at the beginning of the year. So I could see that kind of, falling away from some of the Game of the Year discussions before, getting really big. So I could see that coming out probably, with the PlayStation Pro launching around like August. I guess August or September for both of them would probably be the move. That way you can get some on the shelves and in people's hands before the actual holiday proper kicks off. And then maybe you see some like, here, save $5 bundles or some nonsense like that. But
okay.
Yeah.
You want to say another one, or you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll do one more real quick. Piggybacking on yours from last year, I think we do see a tease for a New Year's Award game this year. I'm not totally committed to it, but I'll say if they are teasing it, that I would expect to see it in 2025.
That's what I have. I have that too. Gears
I don't think
but will come in 2025.
Gears is one of the series that they would tease so far out that they wouldn't be able to get it out shortly thereafter,
Yeah.
It's not such a huge return in the same way that like a Perfect Dark or a Fable was. I wonder how soon Fable. I'll throw that in as a bonus prediction. Fable comes out this year.
Oh, okay. To piggyback on your PS5 stuff, though, I said PS5 gets more competitive with their streaming service. Like they'll finally come to PC. It's finally going to be a PC app where you can, and that there will be there are some exclusive, PS5 games that will be able to stream through there, so you don't have to have a PS5 to do it.
Do you think they would go the route of like Microsoft, where that's an option, but also because they're starting to put more of their games out on the PC, that they would maybe let you download a native Ratchet and Clank or Spider-Man if it's available? I'm going to say no. Yeah, it seems a little too advanced for them. Like Microsoft it's all built in because it's all Windows stuff. So I could see why they wouldn't necessarily do that.
Yeah, because it would have to be a PlayStation store, or they have to make a deal with another store to do that.
Yeah, that's true. They're connecting their collab with Steam. Remember when I had Steam logins for Portal 2?
Yeah.
They're going to do that still.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a short collab. Yeah.
That was the shortest.
It was like they didn't do... Like, that kind of sucked, because that was the only game.
Yeah.
Because they ain't like they did... I thought something like Steam was going to bring over a Left 4 Dead like combo or something. And nope. That's still with Microsoft. What else I have up here? I have there will be a Switch 2 showcase between February 14th and March 31st. And the Switch 2 will launch between May and December. Why are you laughing?
It's just May and December.
Yeah, because I don't fucking know.
Got it. It will launch at some point this year.
for between $300 and $400.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to... my prediction is it's going to be closer to $400. Depending on the hardware, I'm... Okay,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't know if it's going to be really great hardware.
The problem I see is that we're in this world of like quote unquote inflation, where like even if it's not inflation, we're gonna say the word inflation so that we can inflate our prices. So even if it's not the best hardware, I feel like it's going to be $400 because it's going to be the new thing. Because one of my predictions to kind of go along with that, I had a similar prediction, like it'll get announced in the first half of this year, but I think it'll probably be holiday season since we haven't necessarily seen anything from it yet. But the release, I feel like, for the first one was very soon after the debut of it too, and that came out earlier in the year, so it's definitely a possibility. But I think Switch 2 games, like first party big titles, are going to be $70. You know, they already broke that seal with Zelda, and you know they didn't commit to it. You know, they could have did that with Wonder, and I don't think Wonder was $70. But I think once they have the excuse that, like, this is a next gen console, they're going to be right alongside everybody else with their $70 games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can definitely see that. But back to the Switch 2. Yeah, I think it's going to be a showcase, like, you know, what they do and show it off. And the only reason I say May, because I was thinking, like, I think it's going to be, because now I think we're at a point where they're showing these consoles off and they're coming out sooner. That's like that's what the Xbox and PS5 did. Like, they're showing them off and then they're like, okay, and now they come out within months. So that's why I said, like, man, that's what it could happen with Nintendo, the Switch 2. Like, if it was like any other year, I would say that, it'll be announced early this year, and then maybe it come out next year or something. I don't know. But nah. I think this is I think it may come out in May. That's what I was thinking. It's like, shit, man, that shit may come out in May. They have it, and then it might come out, and like it'll come out, and it will be hard to get. Like, it'll be limited, and then like up to the holiday season and stuff like that, and then after the holiday season, it'll be easier to get. But like, you have those times where it's like, a lot came in, like, all throughout the year. You know, like from like the summer, and then like the holiday season, you say, a big batch came in. Go ahead and order it and stuff like that. That's why I feel like it's going to be one of those scarce things. But yeah, and they know it. They know, like, hey, but we're just going to put out some at a time just to get it out there. They get people there.
I kind of hope it does come out sooner rather than later. I really want one to come out sooner rather than later, but also I don't know that I want to be spending that kind of money on that thing. And the thing that's going to get me is, if this thing doesn't have an OLED screen, I just don't know if I want to commit to it immediately or not, because, like, even with the Steam Deck, seeing how quickly they came in to iterate on that, I hate to give Nintendo this, but, like, even if they have like their $400 LCD version and then like a $500 or a $450, preferably $450 version with an OLED, it's like, I might just go with that, you know?
Yeah.
Because it feels a little more future proof, even though, like, it's just a screen at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't even play those things in handheld mode, but for the longest time, I had been playing Zelda on either my monitor or my TV. And this morning when I was playing it on my handheld, and with the Joy-Con grip, the one that I use, like, that thing feels awesome when we've got that thing on there. And I really like it because, like, I use the PlayStation 5 controller when I'm playing on the console or playing on the TV. And it has the motion controls, but there's a much better feeling and a more direct sensation when you're using the motion controls to, like, do nuanced aiming with the bow and arrow. When you're looking at it in your hand, like, it's almost like a window that you're aiming at, as opposed to just kind of like wiggling the controller around. So, like, I really like the way that thing plays in handheld mode, and yeah, I think for me, it would be worth the investment in an OLED version if they did do that.
Man, that sucks. That this should be OLED, man.
It just
I think
should
that's
be.
bullshit.
It really should. It really should be, and I hope it is. I just, based on all the, like, rumors and speculation. It doesn't sound like it might be, and yeah, I hope they're wrong. That's all I can say. I hope they're wrong. So,
All right. So, what other prediction you got?
all right. I also have that Microsoft is going to launch a mobile store this year, with their Activision Blizzard, King acquisition. They've now got Candy Crush. And I don't know if they're going to like try and make that exclusive to their store, but they're definitely going to try and leverage the King brand to get into that market. They've been trying for a very long time. And I think with that court case, that was happening against Google, it's opening the door a little more for other shops to then be out there.
Yeah.
So I think they want that sweet, sweet cash, Dominic.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else, or you want me to go ahead?
How many more do you have?
Let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, then. Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna say Overwatch, the story mode. Is that out?
No, that's not happening anymore.
Oh fuck! Never mind. No, I only got 4.
Okay.
Only got 4 more. Then. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not happening. Oh, never mind. Then forget it. We will see a gameplay trailer of Perfect Dark this year. I don't know when. I mean, because like I said, it's not really set time for things. So I'm just saying this year we'll see a gameplay trailer of Perfect Dark. It's not coming out this year.
Yeah.
But we will see a gameplay trailer.
All right.
And I'm gonna say, Zelda Wind Waker's Super HD will come out this year.
God, I can only hope.
That's what I would say.
They
That's
got that game just sitting on a shelf somewhere, Dominic, ready to go. They just don't want to give it to us because they hate us.
It's gonna launch with the Switch 2. That's what's going on.
Oh, is it going to be exclusive?
That'll suck if it is.
It's a Nintendo-esque move.
But nah. I don't think it'll be launched for the Switch 2. I think Switch 2 will have another. I don't know. I'm just trying to think what game. I mean, maybe it's a surprise game for the Switch 2 that I just can't think about. Surprise Mario game or Kirby game or I don't know, Luigi game, or Wild Luigi game.
There you go, Wild Luigi game. Finally getting his time to shine. Yeah. All right. Speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of launch games for the Switch 2, I'm gonna keep saying this until it comes true. Metroid Prime 4. But what I'm gonna say is it's actually not gonna release with the console. It's not going to be a launch title. I think it's going to miss that by a little bit and come out early 2025. Unless the console does release early this year, I think then maybe we could see it as a holiday title. I just don't think it launches alongside the Switch 2. I think we do get a new 3D Mario game, though, because that team hasn't done anything since the Bowser's Fury stuff. And that was just kind of a small project, it seemed like. So I expect to see that. That'll be a $70 game, of course. But as far as like Metroid Prime 4 goes, I think I got to say at this point that it's not going to be a cross-compatible thing. I think it's going to be exclusive to the Switch 2. And people are going to be disappointed and angry about that. But that's the way it's going to be. Hopefully it makes use of that hardware and looks incredible. That's all I can hope for. As a protection, as a means of defense there. But good luck to him with that.
All right. You want to say another one, or you want me to go ahead?
How many more do you have? Like 2?
2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, I can come up with something probably else, but yeah, go ahead with yours, please.
All right. I want to say, okay, I said that one. I tried to go back up. Actually, I might only have. Oh no, I have this one. First one. Oh, Xbox is going. Microsoft is finally going to do. Xbox. They're going to finally show games. They're going to finally announce that games. There will be games that will be on the cloud, but not part of Game Pass. That you can be streamed through the cloud, but it's not part of the Game Pass. They're going to announce. There's going to be a few announced games this year. So some third party game or something. Yeah, some third party game is going to be announced, and it's like, hey, you can play this on the cloud if you want, or just buy the game.
Gotcha. So basically, like games you own, you can start streaming. Nice. Yeah, that would be nice. That way it's not locked into just their ecosystem. And they promised, did they promise that at some point that was something?
Well, I don't know the promise, but they said it. So okay. I guess, yes, technically they promised. So that's what we do. We say,
you said it in public, that's a promise. That's binding contract.
That's a promise. Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
And I get to threaten your family if you don't keep the promise.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it when we were talking about the news, but I definitely think AI is going to become the new big buzzword in the games industry. We're going to move away from blockchain. We're going to talk about AI and how this is, intelligently designed. I hope they start using that stuff in a way that helps developers, but I believe it's going to just be a means to make more money for the people at the top, Dominic. So it's
AI generated levels. That's what it is. Like,
you know what? Throw AI into Mario Maker. I want to see what happens, Dominic.
Man, I miss Mario Maker 1.
Yeah.
Those bastards. They ruined it. Ruined a good thing. All right. What else I have? I have here my last one. Wolf Among Us will be out by between May and July.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wolf Among Us 2.
I hope that's true, because I was trying to make a list of games that I'm like excited about for this year, and I was looking over it, like, it doesn't look like a bad release calendar. Like, I was actually surprised at how many like hits I was seeing, like at the beginning of these months where we actually know what's coming out. But there's nothing like standing out to me like I'm super excited about besides like Wolf Among Us 2. I really hope that game turns out.
Persona 3, right?
Good.
Persona 3.
No, I mean, like I said, it's certified hit, but it's not going to be for me. I don't think. Like, I think my gaming is like becoming more and more insular, and I don't know if I need to like start trying to branch out and fight against that, or just like commit to it and be like, okay, I only play Metroidvanias now, Dominic. Like, like if that's what this is going to become. Because that Prince of Persia game looks really good. That's going to be out this month.
What about did Blasphemous 2 come out? That came out last year, right?
Yeah, Blasphemous 2 came out at the end of last year. I don't know if it's just too soulsy, or if it's like maybe I don't want to play every Metroidvania. It just happens to be Metroidvania is the only thing that I do play. Yeah, because like that first one, I have to look at my console. I don't know if I have the demo downloaded on there, or if it just got so cheap at some point that I was like, all right, I'm going to pick this up, and then never ended up actually playing it. Because there was a demo for it, but the second one is also a possibility for me, So, but I don't know. It was just like the kind of grim, Dark Soulsiness of it that, isn't like, oh man, I definitely got to play this. Because there's another one that I saw recently that I was like, man, the artwork in it looks incredible, but now it's not coming to mind. Yeah, the only other prediction I had was that we will see Dragon Age this year. And like I said, kind of when we were talking about that stuff, I expect to see it, at the Game Awards. or not the Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, and then probably, I don't know. I think it might actually come out next year. But are there games that you're looking forward to, Dominic, that we know of coming in 2024 pretty firmly?
I really, they're, Like a Dragon 2.
Yeah.
That one, other than that, no. Like the game, I will be looking for Outer Worlds 2, but I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah,
maybe
not with
next
Avowed
year, though.
coming out this year. But Avowed looks like it could hopefully be pretty good.
What the hell is Avowed?
Avowed, the way that I'm interpreting it, which I don't think is entirely correct, but the way I'm interpreting it is basically the Outer Worlds to Elder Scrolls from Oblivion. Not Oblivion.
Okay.
What's the developer?
It's called Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah. So basically Obsidian's
That's right.
take
Damn,
on...
I totally fucking forgot.
On Elder Scrolls.
Well, they said, I just saw something that Outer Worlds 2 is being helped by some developers from Bethesda. So, that's cool. But
no, they're going to ruin it, Dominic.
Avowed. So, yeah, I'm looking for Avowed then.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, Avowed seems pretty cool. Hopefully that turns out. I mean, Obsidian, out of everybody, I feel like has been, for Microsoft at least, Obsidian has been the most reliable so far.
Yeah,
because Pentiment was pretty damn cool from all
and
people's
then you
accounts.
got Grounded.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I take that back. I mean, they still, to give them credit, they still released the game, and maybe it's not for me, but it seems like people had fun with that game too.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a bad game.
I was going to say people live their dreams of hiring something kids. I was like, those people are like all over 40 and 50 years old. 50 years. What other game is there? I mean, this should be a Gears by now. I should be looking forward to.
Let's see. Video games 2024.
Yeah, that's it. I guess Avowed is like the only one.
I will say, like, I'm curious
I'm also
about
looking forward to getting
Squad.
something new.
Yeah,
like a new system or something. That's what it is. Either I'm getting a new Steam Deck thing or whatever. I don't know. Maybe
MSI
something like
just
that.
announced their Steam Deck, equivalent. Everybody's getting into that space now. So
Well, yeah. There's something I saw. I forgot. I saw a video of. I mean, there's different versions of them I saw on Amazon. They cost almost close to $1,000.
like the Ion Neos and stuff.
I gotta look at my Amazon history.
Because those were the ones that were coming out like even before the Steam Deck, but they are like full. They're much more powerful than the Steam Deck, but that's why they cost full computer price basically.
It's the Win Mini handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the 7. Yeah, it's different, like 7-inch screen ones, and then it's they're different tech inside, so cheaper. Like this 256 gigabit. What is it? 6 inches laptop. So I don't know. Yeah, like these people doing some real work up there. I ain't gonna use some real work for this small ass screen, man. Yeah. I just want to play games. Yeah, because I don't want a keyboard. Because somebody was showing how they were playing this game up here, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, it's like a little laptop.
Yeah, it's like a tiny laptop almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's GPD that does those. They've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
just like Ion, but yeah, they've got a whole bunch of different form factors too, though. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at if you're looking
you
to
said
replace.
Ion, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I forget how to spell it. It's like AYNEO. Is that right? Yeah. AYNEO. Ayaneo. Ioneo.
Ion Neon Kun? That's I don't think it's that.
No. Because I hadn't seen this version, the Flip. They have basically one that looks like a 3DS. It's much bigger. It's almost like it has the keyboard size thing, but it's got a second little screen at the bottom too. So that I'm sure is ridiculously priced, but like it's pretty cool for people that want to start emulating 3DS games on something that could do it kind of properly. But yeah, oh no, the Kun, you're right. They also have the Kun, which is like just almost like Steam Deck style. They also have one slide that has almost like a sidekick slidey thing. Yeah, they're a company that, like, from the first time that I heard of them, like 2 weeks later, I heard that they were announcing a new one. And then 2 weeks after that, they were announcing another new one. Like, they're rapidly iterating on these things, which is
okay. I see them. Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
but also kind of scary because it's like, oh, I just bought this thing, and like 2 weeks later, you're going to announce this new thing. Like, I don't think so. But if you're looking at the GPD, I think also keep an eye on this stuff because they're doing very, very similar things in that handheld space. Yeah, what podcast was I listening to? And they were talking about, like, yeah, I don't know that gaming laptops are necessarily going to be much of a thing anymore because you can get one of these gaming handhelds and they're more comfortable to like actually play with. And you can also just, HDMI out or USB-C out to a larger screen when the time comes for you to do that.
You don't have to like burn your lap.
Exactly. Because those things, you're like always tethered to the wall anyway, when you're really doing intense gaming. So why not just plug it into a dock and play on your TV while it's plugged in or something like that, So I could definitely see that being a thing where it's like, especially that coupled with the increase in game streaming stuff, because you see Google advertising all the time like, oh, I'm playing this game on my Chromebook, and it's like, oh wow, okay. So like I can see people moving to like wanting lighter and more portable laptops that they then use as maybe just a screen for their handheld device or for a screen for their streaming service. So we will see, Dominic. I feel like we're definitely at like an inflection point where things are the dynamics of video games are going to really start changing. Whether that's for the better or not, we shall see, I guess.
All right, so that's all your predictions too?
Yeah, that's everything I've got.
Okay. So. All right. So I guess there's no new releases. Right?
No, nothing I saw worth talking about really over these past.
So 2 in 10 years, we had nothing to talk about for this week.
Yeah. So, all right, Dominic, it's time to wrap up the podcast then?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys as always for listening. You check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Supapod, SUPAPOD. If I could spell it, Jesus. Supapod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as audio places like iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and any place you find an audio podcast, basically, we exist. So until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see ya.